Hello, this is Mr. Chabry, and what we're doing now is we're going to start a new playthrough series. So this here, I have to say, is one of my favorite Pokemon games. This is Pokemon SoulSilver, and here we see a beautiful Lugia flying towards the player character. So, yeah, what we're going to be doing here is basically a playthrough walkthrough, I guess you could say, of Pokemon SoulSilver. If you're playing HeartGold, this would work just as well. The only difference is certain Pokemon are one and not the other. But the idea I had for this playthrough series is, say, someone recently rediscovered HeartGold SoulSilver and they want to play through it again, or a brand new person that just never played these games before and, you know, want to try them out. I think this series is made for you. And if you just want to come join us on this adventure of this beautiful, well-crafted Pokemon game. Oh God, I love this Pokemon game. I feel like some of it might be nostalgia because, you know, I loved Gen 2 growing up. I played so much Gen 2. But I honestly think this game still holds up, even with that. But anyway, what we're going to be doing, let's go ahead and touch start so we can actually start this playthrough. So right here is a thing that they kind of did in Fire Red, Leaf Green, and they did it here too. A little thing that you can click on before if you've never played a Pokemon game. But here we've got Professor Oak, and we just woke Professor Oak up. He overslept. One thing I really love about Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver is the touchscreen integration. Of course, you can use the buttons if you want to, but in HeartGold SoulSilver, you actually don't even need to use the buttons. You can do everything on the touchscreen. As you see here, I'm touching the touch screen. But yeah, this is like an amazing, well-crafted game. And they actually haven't done the touchscreen as well as they did here since then. In Diamond and Pearl, you can use a touchscreen, but you still have to use the buttons here and there. And then in Black and White, they kind of did away with the touchscreen element and basically made it its own thing. So here we're going to be choosing the boy, here where you get to choose your gender. I decided to go with the boy because I feel like Ethan, the male character, has more of an iconic look than the female character. The female character, some people like Lyra more, which is the character in here. Some people like Chris more, who is the character in Crystal. But everyone loves Ethan's look. Yes, and we'll be Chabry in this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is start our own adventure. Fun experiences, difficult experience, there's so much waiting for you. Dreams, adventure. Let's go to the world of Pokemon. See you later. Alright, and we'll just warp into our small chibi trainer sprite. So what we have to do before we do anything is walk downstairs. You can't even open up the options before you walk downstairs. So we're going to do that. And our mother, this is our mother. Basically, the only bedroom is for us, and the mother, I guess, sleeps downstairs in the living room kitchen combination. I guess that's a joke that's been made many times. But now we finally get some options that we can do here. And if you played any Pokemon game, you know the number one thing that you have to do, the first thing before you actually start your adventure, is change this little text feature. For some reason, it defaults to mid, and that's like really slow. You can see here, look how slow that's slow right there. Mid's pretty slow too. Fast is the only way to go. And we can also adjust our frame. If you look on the top screen, just change to different colors. They also have a gold one and a silver one. There's a Team Rocket one. We got some wallpaper. We got these. I think that one looks pretty cool. It's almost like a retro throwback look, but it's not quite. And then they have a brick one. I like the brick one, but I think for this playthrough, we're just going to go with the silver. This is Pokemon SoulSilver. Might as well go with Pokemon the silver frame. So now we can actually leave the house after, you know, getting access to the options and stuff. And if you remember, Lyra, who is our neighbor, was playing hide and seek with her Meryl. And here she is walking out of Professor M's lab, while the Meryl is just walking down the street. Meryl sucks at hide and seek. I don't know why she couldn't find this thing. It was just in the middle of the street, just running in circles. But anyway, we're going to go over here. This is Professor Elm's lab. This right here, this whole town is New Bark Town, the Winds of New Beginning. And you got like a little map there, I guess you could say that's a map. I mean, I don't remember if one of these houses were added. Well, you know, I think a house was added for the remake. And that's the map of the old one on the sign. But anyway, we've got some kid here just staring in the window. Who is this guy? Why is he staring in the window? Why did he just kick me? He just kicked me. Anyway, we got to go into Professor Elm's lab to actually do the next part. And this right here is one of my favorite parts of any Pokemon game. You know, starting out any Pokemon game. This is where we pick our starter. And I'm going to go over the starters, and maybe you, if you haven't played this before, I can help you decide which starter you want. If you have played this before, you probably already know which starter you like. And this goes into the question of the day. This is a little thing I'm going to do each video. Question of the day. Leave it down in the comments. If you haven't played this before, of course, you're not going to really know. So you're going to have to wait for me to explain each of these starters. But if you have played this before, who is your favorite Johto starter? Which one of these three is the Pokemon that you would say is your favorite of the Johto starters? I'm going to go over them. Right now, Professor Elm is telling us about Mr. Pokemon. Some researcher in this other area of Johto has discovered an egg, and he wants us to go and see the egg. But anyway, like I was saying, this is like one of my favorite parts of any Pokemon game, picking out your starter. Touch the Pokeball, see what Pokemon is inside. So this right here, the first Pokemon is Chikorita. I have to say, this is probably the more challenging pick. If you want to challenge yourself, pick Chikorita. It's quite weak to a lot of the gym leaders here in Johto. And a lot of the Pokemon early on can really do a lot of damage to Chikorita. So if you want to challenge yourself, pick this thing. It does have decent bulk, and that's the best thing that it's got going for it. It's not very good offensively, but that bulk is pretty decent, and it can get some decent moves to help out its bulk, to stall things out and stuff like that. And the next Pokemon we're going to look at is Totodile. This Pokemon has good attack and good defense. This Pokemon is probably the middle range. There's some Pokemon early on that it does well against, and there's some Pokemon early on that it has trouble with. Especially, soon you're going to see a lot of grass types popping up, and Totodile has trouble with that. So if you pick this thing, you're going to have to pick a flying type maybe to help you out early on in the game. If you pick the Chikorita, you're going to have to find a rock type, and I'll show you where you find a rock type. But yeah, and then there's Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil is the special attacker, and it's pretty fast too. This is the fastest of the three. This one's probably, I would say, the overall bulkier. And this one has the best attack, and the one that's more tank-oriented, you know? It's the slowest one, but it can take hits pretty well. Chikorita can take hits. It doesn't do a lot of damage back, but it can take hits. Cyndaquil does the most damage, and I would say this is probably the easier pick if you want to pick one that makes the game easier. It's going to be Cyndaquil. And you know what? My question of the day answer is, who is my favorite Johto starter? It's going to be this one right here, Cyndaquil. I love this Pokemon. This has always been one of my favorite Pokemon since Gen 2. So we'll go ahead and pick that Pokemon out. Do we get one to nickname it? Yes, we do. And I know this is a nickname that a lot of people probably give their Cyndaquil, but you know what? It fits. I just watched Avatar again. Let's name it Zuko. How about that? Yes, that's the name. I just said it. That is the name. Anyway, a cool thing in HeartGold, SoulSilver that, you know, don't pop up very often in Pokemon games is the fact that your Pokemon can follow you. Of course, they did it in Pokemon Yellow, and they didn't bring it back until Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. And even in Sword and Shield, it's only in specific areas where you can walk with your Pokemon. But in HeartGold, SoulSilver, you can walk with the first Pokemon in your party. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could even be a legendary. You're going to be walking into a Pokemon Center with a Mewtwo. And people will just be watching you walk around with your legendary. Anyway, this guy will give us a potion. Our first mission is to walk to the other side of Cherry Grove City and talk to Mr. Pokemon about that egg. That's our first mission. And here we have Lyra playing with her Meryl. Meryl is a water type, but you know what? I still think my fire type could take your Meryl. So Lyra says we need to show our mom our Pokemon. She'll be proud of us. And you also need to go talk to your mom because she's got something for you. Something you kind of need before you continue on our little adventure. And that's going to be our Pokegear. So yeah, Professor Elm gave us this Pokemon, and he has a task for us. Sounds difficult. But when someone like that makes a request, it's important. Yes, we're actually playing as a kid, and we're being sent off on this quest to talk to Mr. Pokemon. So here we got our Pokegear. And the Pokegear is basically, the Pokenav in Hoenn, the Pokewatch in Sinnoh. It's basically the little thing your character has that has features that adds to it. And the thing that Pokegear does is it gives you a phone. You can actually call certain other trainers, and you can get their number after you battle them. I would say don't get every trainer number, because, some of them are kind of annoying, but some of them are actually pretty nice to have because they'll give you items, they'll give you a way to, train up your Pokemon too. And they'll call you when there's certain Pokemon on certain routes that aren't usually available on those routes. So this is Route 29, the first route that we're going to come across here. And there's a few Pokemon you can catch here. Of course, they're not really the greatest Pokemon because they're not going to, help your team out in the late game. But they could help you out early on. And the first Pokemon we're going to see is a Pidgey. The Pokemon you can catch here is Pidgey, Rattata, Sentret, and you can also catch Hoots at night. But yeah, these Pokemon aren't going to be doing a lot. I feel like the Pokemon that does the best throughout the game is probably Pidgey because it's got a little more evolutions. Rattata only evolves once, Sentret only evolves once, and Hoot only evolves once. Why are we missing so much? Come on, Zuko. Thank you, Zuko. I don't know why he's missing so much. But anyway, yeah, it's like Pidgey's probably the best out of the 4 Pokemon that you can find on this route. I would say if you started with Chikorita, grab you a Pidgey or Hoot, or there's another flying type later on that we'll come across that you might want to grab. No, not Chikorita, Totodile. If you start with Totodile, get you a flying type, because there's going to be a part where you fight a lot of grass types. If you did start with Chikorita, grab a flying type as well, because Chikorita does have problems with said grass types, just because the grass types resist its grass stab moves. So yeah, I mean, Chikorita can power through them, but if you picked, why is Zuko missing so much? That's like the 3rd time. Zuko, I know you have a scar on your eye, but come on, dude. You still have binocular vision. Anyway, yeah, so I think if you did start with Totodile and Chikorita, you're going to have to make sure you get some of these earlier on Pokemon, because it's going to help you out quite a bit. It's going to help you out quite a bit. And we're going to have to use a potion already, because we're missing so much. But anyway, where is our bag? We'll just look into our bag, open up a potion, and give it to Zuko. And these potions are pretty helpful early on. Sooner or later, it'll get to a point where you want to have hyper potions and super potions. These potions aren't going to help you out throughout a big chunk of the game later on. Yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon. I would say if you're just starting out, it's a good idea to battle some of these wild Pokemon, because you're going to have a battle soon. And it does help out having advantage level-wise on your opponent, because the person that we're going to battle will have a level 5 Pokemon. And we'll get to that. Why am I'm having bad luck or something, because I'm missing and getting critted. Missing and getting critted. Alright, come on, Zuko. Come on, you can't tell me you're having this much of a struggle early on in this game, Zuko. Like, why? It don't make sense. We're gonna learn Smokescreen. Smokescreen isn't the best move. It does help, make it where the opponent's more likely to miss. And I think, if I remember right, Chikorita will learn a grass-type move, while Totodile learns a water-type move at this... No, Totodile learns Rage, I think. So yeah, you don't get stab moves early on. I think Chikorita does get Poison Powder, maybe. If you pick those, you know which move that it just learnt there. But yeah, they don't really get stab moves till later on, which is a weird thing with the early Pokemon starters. For some reason, they don't start off with a fire type move or a water type move or a grass type move. I don't understand why they did. Actually, I do understand why they did that, and I'm gonna show you that once we get there why. But yeah, it does kind of get annoying because you're relying on tackle and scratch, which isn't the best moves, even accuracy wise. Zuko's actually doing good this time, so maybe Zuko just needed a pep talk. But yeah, Pidgey's probably decent. It's not the best Pokemon. You do get some other flying types that you can check out. Up here, especially if you started with Chikorita, I would suggest you checking out this route up here. This is Route 46. Rattatas are found in this grass, but also Spearows and Geodudes. So if you want a flying type and you don't want Pidgey or Hoot, Spearows are here. If you started with Chikorita, I would say get you a Geodude. Geodude's actually an amazing Pokemon, especially if you evolve it all the way to Golem. The thing about evolving it to Golem, though, is you do have to trade it to evolve the Graveler into Golem, which, if you don't have like a friend that has this game or a second DS, you can't really do that. But if you do, Golem's actually an amazing Pokemon. It can actually do a lot for you, and it has really good defense and attack. Plus, early on, Geodude's actually pretty helpful, especially against the first gym, which is going to be a flying type gym. We're just going to run from this one. I don't feel like fighting this guy here. But yeah, I would say grab you a Geodude because it'll help out against the first gym. Of course, if you start it with Totodile, it might not be the greatest idea to rely on Geodude just because you're already weak to grass-type moves. And Geodude's also weak to grass-type. So you've got two Pokemon on your team that are both weak to grass. So if you start with Totodile, I mean, you could use it because it does have some things it gives you. But I would say it would make sense to grab you a flying type. And if you got Chikorita, go ahead and grab you a flying type too because it'll help out early on. You don't have to use any of these Pokemon throughout the entire playthrough, but you can use them for specific areas that will help you. So this is Cherry Grove City, the first city we come across, and this old man's giving us a tour of this city. It's not really a big city, but he's really proud of it. So we're just going to walk with him as he runs like way ahead of us. And here he is showing us his house, and he's going to give us the running shoes. Now, this is an amazing item to have because it really helps you out. Of course, in Gen 2, they didn't have running shoes. It was a Gen 3 edition, but this is actually a really good item because now you can just zip through and you don't have to rely slowly walking. And you don't have to hold B to do it on this game. You can just tap it and it'll auto run. And I actually do think that's better as an option. And the old man will stop us before we walk up, and he'll give us a map card. So this map card's really nice to have. It'll let us, see where we're at and everything. And you just access that with the Pokegear. So here's the Pokegear. You have the phone option, but you also have the map option now. And so far, we've only been on these little sections down here. If the city's red, you've been there. You can see we haven't explored much of the map. Alright, so I would say, if like right here, you can check your Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and heal up at the Pokemon Center. The Pokemon Center is, if you actually paid attention to the running guy, it's this red-roofed building. And it's a good idea to go ahead and heal up your Pokemon. You don't want them too weak. The blue-roofed building next to it is the Pokemart. Of course, right now, you can't buy Pokeballs yet. You can only wait until after you do this first mission before you get those. But yeah, you're going to want some Pokeballs, especially if you're, wanting to catch a lot of Pokemon and everything. So we'll just go up here into Route 30. So Route 30 is an interesting route. Of course, you can catch Rattatas, Pidgeys, Hoots at night. But there's certain Pokemon that are actually only available in whatever Pokemon game you got. So we're playing SoulSilver. So we have Weedles here too, and we also have Ladybuzz. Neither of them are really the greatest Pokemon. If you're playing HeartGold, you have Caterpies, and you also have Spinnerax. I feel like, so yeah, basically different bug types depending on what Pokemon game you've got. And I mean, early on they can help you. If you catch a Caterpie, it can become a Butterfree within level 10. Same thing, Weedle can become Beedrill pretty early on. And they do have some things they can do early on, but they get outpaced pretty quickly. So they're not going to help you much. And I'm going to go ahead and heal up because we took poison damage, and that's really not good for us to keep continuing on when we're, you know, dealing with poison. Poison, if you don't know, it takes HP away as you walk. And in Gen 4, they actually made it where your Pokemon will always like be cured of the poison within 1 HP. Before that, your Pokemon would actually faint, and that would be kind of annoying if, you know, you're trying to walk through a cave, you don't have any antidotes, and you're poisoned. You could die and then have to walk through that whole cave again. Yeah, these Pokemon here. There's another Weedle. I'm going to run from the Weedles. I don't want to mess with them. I don't want to mess with them at all, because they're kind of annoying. Over here we have an item. Go ahead and grab that. It is a potion. It's good to have some potions. There's this guy here. He doesn't battle you. And actually, this right here, this house, you can go in it if you want. But if you just try to walk past it, you'll get stopped anyway. And this guy is like kind of hurt that you didn't notice his house. If you follow the path up north, you'll see Mr. Pokemon's house. Before you go, you have Apricorns. I'll give you some like Apricorn box or something. Yeah, Apricorn box. Apricorns are, if you notice these little trees, we walked by one back on the past route. They're just little trees that have these little Apricorn nuts in the top, and you can collect those and take them later on to this guy named Kurt, who can actually make Pokeballs out of them. And they're actually pretty decent Pokeballs. So yeah, we're going to continue going this way. If you want to use a bug type, I would say, I mean, these will help you out early on, but they get outpaced really fast. So they're not the best. Especially, you know, Ladybug and Spinnerax, they get outpaced as well. Ladybug evolves into Ladian, who's not that great of a Pokemon. And also Spinnerax evolves into Ariados, who I think's better than Ladian, but not the best. You look here, we've got some kids battling here, and you can't go past this route yet. You're gonna have to do the first mission. So, yeah, they're blocking your path that way, so you have to go this way. And there's a bunch of patches of grass that we're just gonna, you know, walk through, get stopped by these Pokemon. At least it's not a Weedle. I was getting kind of annoying, all those Weedles. You can get repels, which are really nice, especially if you're trying not to catch, you know, you don't really care about catching Pokemon. Over here we have an Apricorn Tree. These are just little trees that you find around the Johto region, and they have different Apricorns. The earlier one we got was a green one. That's a pink one. Depending on the color of the Apricorn, it'll have a different Pokeball that Kurt can make out of it. And here's Mr. Pokemon with Professor Oak. We're going to talk to him. He's going to show us the egg. He's going to get it off his little shelf first. We got the mystery egg. So yeah, a friend from Ekurcheek gave him that egg. And keep that in mind, because that's going to come into play later on. Here's the quote from Professor Elm. Or Professor Oak. We got to talk to Professor Oak now, who we just took a nap right here. And Professor Oak's like, and with that, I'm Professor Oak, a Pokemon researcher. You're Chabry, just visiting my friend, Mr. Pokemon. I heard you were running an errand from Professor Elm, so I waited here. Oh, this is a rare Pokemon. Must be helping Professor Elm's research. I understand why Professor Elm gave you that Pokemon. You treat that Pokemon with love and care, it seems. You seem to be dependable. Would you help me out? I've got the latest version of the Pokedex. So this is where we're going to get our Pokedex. Basically, the Pokedex is what you use to, you know, look up different information on Pokemon you've already caught, or if you haven't caught them and you've seen them, it'll show you where to find them in the overworld. And like I said, some Pokemon aren't going to be found in the version that you have, so say I came across a Spinnerack. I'm playing SoulSilver, so I wouldn't be able to find that in the overworld. But we're just going to exit here. And we get a call from Professor Elm. Remember, this Pokegear also works as a phone. It's a disaster. It's terrible. What should I do? Oh, no. Get back here now. So something happened back at the laboratory. And we're going to have to go back there and figure out what just happened. But we're going to do that in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, question of the day. Who is your favorite Johto starter? Put that down in the comments. Let me know. And I will see you in the next Pokemon video.